Hello, friends. Friends, those who are interested in the telecom sector, especially in BSNL, must have come across this set of news articles, which was done, I think, day before yesterday. So one is the Economic Times article, which talks about BSNL gets 1600 crores of spectrum to boost 5G services. Then there is a CNBC article, which talks about Tejas Network gets a jump of 10%, BSNL's 1600 crores 5G expansion. And then we have Communication Today talks about the same thing. Then Moneycontrol also, and there could be many other articles. Now, friends, what is this 16,000 crores of spectrum all about? Is it new spectrum? It is old spectrum? From where this number is coming? Friends, my endeavor in this channel has been to go and deep dive, under the hood of these numbers, these articles which are done, which gets pretty confusing. So I have always made an attempt to give you the realistic picture, right? Being completely unbiased as much as I can, because I can also get biased sometimes inadvertently, but I've tried my level best to be as unbiased as possible. And what I rely on is on numbers, and not the numbers which are being told or which are being thrown right on the table right now, but what is the history behind those numbers and how these numbers are linked with all past numbers which have been already disclosed, right? So let's investigate these news items and try to analyze whether this is a new spectrum or it is something else. So in order to facilitate the investigation, what I have done is I have gone to the BSNL's quarterly report and I have created a very extensive Excel sheet which has taken me a lot of time, friends. It is not an easy affair to do given the structure of the reports. It is hard to read sometimes, okay? So let's look at the bottom line, because I don't want you to get confused with so many numbers. So we are going to talk about the numbers which are total asset here, right? This is important. And out of the total asset, the most important part is equity share capital. Let me just do a little bit of zooming so that you can see the equity share capital. Now, if you look at the equity share capital, it started with a very low number in 30th June 2022, which was 5,000 crores. And this number has slowly, incrementally risen. And on 31st March 2024, this was 77,767 crores. And then the latest quarterly report, which was on 31st December 2024, the number was 95,009 crores, right? So friends, what is the meaning of this number? And this meaning of this number, you can clearly see from this sheet, right? You can see that this started, right? This sheet, not this sheet. So this is an extrapolation of the various kinds of equity that has been booked by the government against various line items. So what I have done is I have gone into the various quarterly and the annual reports. I have extracted this number, this table. Now friends, you will, by looking at this table, you will be able to understand this line item which I was talking about, this one. So let's focus on this line item first. 77,776, from where this number has come. Now friends, if I do an addition of all these numbers till this number, you will see this number is 72,767, right? This group of numbers. So this group of numbers have been clearly mapped against various line items on which shares have been issued, and the numbers are also be clearly laid out. Can you see that? These are the number of shares which have been issued to the government against these line items. So some are real cash flow and some are simply notional amount. For example, Spectrum is notional amount, AGR is notional amount, Spectrum here also is notional amount. This may be real cash flow. This is notional amount. This may be real cash flow. So just be with me till these numbers. So these numbers add up to 72,000 to 767, right? So from where this 77,000 crore number is coming, right? This 77,000 crore number is coming when you add up this 5,000. So 5,000 plus all these numbers. So let's say if I add up these numbers, these are incremental share capital numbers. If you add all these numbers, you get a number of 72,667, which means that all the equity that the government of India has been assigned by BSNL on account of these line items add up to this number 77,767 plus the so this has to be added, and this plus this whole thing plus this adds up to 77,767. So let me repeat again. These numbers 3,013 plus 23 plus this, everything adds up to 72 something, right? These are all 72 something if you add. These are from here to here. Plus 5,000 because the initial equity was 5,000. So this number, so if you add everything, it comes out to be 77,767. Now friends, why I'm emphasizing on this point? It is very, very important to understand why I'm emphasizing on this point and from where the 61,000 number is coming. Now friends, in order to understand 61,000 crores number, we need to understand how much quantum of spectrum of value the BSNL has been assigned. Okay. So for that, I have another sheet. So let me go to another sheet. So this sheet captures all spectrum and the market price from TRAI price, DOT price, and final price, right? So these are all the spectrum auction which took place starting from 2010 till the latest spectrum, which is latest auction, which is 2024. All the numbers have been captured. So what I've done is I have, based on this particular sheet, because I know when BSNL has been assigned spectrum, the date of allotment. So I have populated the quantum of spectrum on these date in this column. This column. Which column? This column. Column I. So if you go column I, you will find that the number of spectrum, like for example, 710 megahertz, like that, 900 megahertz, 6.4, 2100 megahertz, then 2300 megahertz, 3300 megahertz, and the 2600 megahertz all have been listed down here. So these are all, that BSNL has been assigned spectrum regularly, and this is being driven by those dates. Now, once you add up everything, right, and you do a multiplication with the value of spectrum, with the quantum of spectrum, you come out with a number which is 96,773. Okay. So this is 96,000. So remember this number, 96,773. Now let's go back and see what this number is all about. And let me write out 96,773. Okay. Remember this number, 96,773. Okay. Now let's do a simple calculation. How much spectrum has been already allocated to BSNL, has been booked. So if I add this is spectrum, this is spectrum, and then we have got this is spectrum, and we have got this is spectrum, right? Now this you leave for the time being, because I'll tell you why you leave it. You just add these two numbers, this and this. This comes out to be 35,462. So let me just do a sum right in front of you. This plus this. Okay. How much it is? 35,452. Now what is left out? So if you subtract this minus this comes out to be 61,000. That's the same number which we have been talking about. Now, why this number is floating around? Why this number has not been taken into consideration? Because of the following reason. Now, if you go to this sheet is, by the way, friends, these are very, very tedious work. I have to go down and go in and teach every word to understand this. So what happened was that if you go to the BSNL balance sheet, you will find that this number, 12,623 crore, has not been assigned. These have not been allocated, the pending allocation. So it says other equity share application money pending for allotment, means it has not been assigned to DOT. That is why this number has been floating around here. So that's why I took only these two numbers, 900 megahertz spectrum and the other spectrum purchase, and that adds up to 35,442. And if you subtract from this number, the total spectrum, this comes out to be 61,322, which includes the 12,623 number. And that is what this number is all about, which will be assigned in FY25. FY26. FY26, because till FY25 the books have been closed, which is the end of 31st March 2023. I think so. Now, whatever number is being floating around here is going to be for the next financial year. Now, how do I know that? How I am so confident about this, that this number will be for the next financial year? For that, you have to go to the SARAS website. Now, in the SARAS website, let me just show you. You will be very, very intrigued to find one important, interesting fact. Now, this SARAS website information has been captured in my website like this. Indian Telecom Operators Regulatory Fees and License. So again, it takes a lot of effort to extract all these data. Okay, it is not an easy task to do because I have to do a lot of coding. Now here you will find a very interesting things, right? So I'll do all here. All means both spectrum fee as well as license fee. Now I will do 2024-25. Now in 2024-25, we'll see BSNL is 1,245 only, right? And maybe a little bit more. So this is the BSNL's license fee and spectrum fee. Now, if this number stays as it is, then this is the total quantum which the BSNL has been assigned, or BSNL has paid to the government in form of license fee and spectrum fee, which is equity, right? Now the 2024-23-24 number is pretty interesting. Now you see that this is the total quantum of money that the BSNL has paid to the government in terms of license fee, which is 23,934. Now this number closely matches this number. If you add this number, because this is the number which is 12,000, 2024, 12,000, and if you add this also, this number also, if you add this one, so this number 23,373, if you add here, right, this number plus this number is spectrum, right? Now one of the number 23,373, which is 900 megahertz spectrum, this number is the number here, right? So looks to me that's as progressively the government of India chooses to book this number in the SARAS website. Now this is maybe a little bit confusing, right? I do not have a very clear clarity as to how they are doing it, but I get a sense that this number that you see here somehow also get booked in the SARAS website in terms of revenue. So when the budget is announced, then a certain portion of this number is also booked as revenue, because the government of India is taking equity. But let's forget about this confusion, because sometimes these numbers do not add up. There are a lot of holes in this number. But one thing is pretty clear, friends. This balance sheet is coming from BSNL's annual report, which clearly states that 31st March 2024, 77,767 crores of asset in the equity share capital was in the books, which has increased in the various other quarters. But if you go to the annual report, this is the number. And this number is clearly this number. This number from here to here, adding 5,000 crores, which was the starting number. This number was not booked, 12,623. So if you take the total quantum of spectrum which the government of India has allocated, which is 96,773, out of which if you subtract this number, right, all this number which is adding up to this spectrum number, right, 900 megahertz, and this one 12,078, which comes out to be 35,452. If you subtract this from here, it comes out to be 61,321. Looks like that the government is now going to book this number which was left unbooked, plus the additional number which is going to get booked in this financial year. That's all, friends, I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope that you now understood that this headline that is being spoken about is too misleading, because the spectrum is already there with BSNL. They have already launched 4G services in the 700 megahertz band. They already have 2100 megahertz band. They already have 3300 megahertz band, 2600 megahertz band. So there is nothing new here which is being spoken about, right? You understand now why this headline is so misleading, and why these people, whenever you do this kind of headline, when the government of India gives information in piecemeal, when already the spectrum has been assigned, it is of no value, because if Tejas Network has to jump just because this number was floated around, it makes no sense. Tejas Network can jump because of orders which BSNL gives. But if the government of India has given 61,000 crores of spectrum to BSNL, which is already lying in the hand of BSNL, this announcement means nothing. Okay, friends, thank you for your time. I hope that you understood what I'm talking about. This is quite a painful work, by the way. Unless and until you kind of triangulate these numbers, you may not be able to see through these headlines. Okay. Thanks for your time, friends, for watching till the end, and I'll come back with a new video on a new topic next time. Thank you very much for listening.